Didn't I tell you that I was afraid he was Sagittarius? Did you hear me say that? Please tell me you heard me say that. And if you didn't hear me say that, I'm so glad that this live is recorded, because I'm going to put that live on YouTube when we're done here. And I want you to go back and watch if you didn't hear me say that, and hear me say that, because I said that on the live, that I have a feeling it's going to be Sagittarius, because God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, wanted you to be super responsible, because Sagittarius is super irresponsible. Well, there you go. That's what I knew it was. I knew it was Sagittarius in your 12th house. I knew it. I knew it. I'm going to put it on YouTube. You go and watch. You did hear me. Yay. I'm glad you heard me. I know my stuff. I knew it. I knew it. That's what karma is about. We come back to master the things we need to learn. Sagittarius in 12th house does things that hurt themselves and other people, but they're completely oblivious to the fact that their actions have consequences. Sagittarius in 12th house cannot connect these two things, actions and consequences. Karma, that is the basic definition of karma. This thing is going to have this impact. Sagittarius just chooses to be reckless and careless about whatever they want to do, however they want to do it, like, yay! You know, slipping down the slope. And then later it goes, oh, I fucked that up, didn't I? Yeah, you did. You broke the whole thing. Now nobody's having fun. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for all that. That was great. So Sagittarius in 12th house, oftentimes, karmically speaking, has done things that have been so, like, not good at all. Like, there have been times people have literally died because of things that Sagittarius in 12th house have done, because of their carelessness. And yes, I know they didn't intend to kill anyone. I get that. But the fact that a person lost their life because you're being careless, like, that's still something you have to, like, deal with, you know? And that's usually the karma of Sagittarius in 12th house. So this round, God was like, I'm not playing around with you, okay? Because it's very clear. I can't just give you responsibility in one area for you to get the point and stay on track. This time, this is what we're going to do. You're going to be a Capricorn sun, a Capricorn moon, Capricorn rising, Venus, Mars. God was just throwing all the Capricorn at you at this point. He's like, fuck this. We ain't having fun no more, because you don't know how to act. You don't know how to act. So that's it. We're done having fun. From the age of 3 years old, you're going to start raising some people, okay? And I'm going to need you to keep that same energy until you're old, because I don't need you out there ruining lives. That's what it is. I knew it. I could just feel it in my spirit, because I'm like, why is the universe being so hard on this girl? That's a lot of Capricorn. Lord, one of them is enough to make somebody crazy. And 3 back to back? What'd she do? Because that's always my thought. From an astrology standpoint, I'm always like, what did you do in your last life? Whenever I see these types, I'm like, what'd you do? Like the other lady on the chat. When she said Leo 12th house, I was like, oh, I knew what it was. Yeah, who we are is because of who we weren't. Okay? When we die, we come back. I know people have a hard time believing it, but it's the truth. And there's not a religious book alive on this earth that doesn't teach that. For those of you who don't believe it, I need y'all to know that this teaching is reflected in all of the religious spiritual books as well. It's different variations of it, but it's the same thing, that when we die, we don't really die, because our spirit never dies. Science teaches the same thing. Energy never dies. When we die, we come back. The stuff that you did before, you're going to come back and have to fix that. Yeah, it's like a revolving wheel in a sense. Thank you for saying that. We're here to grow, to master, to evolve. If in the last life I give you a lot of freedom and you were reckless with it, in this life, I'm going to tighten the reins, because I need you to get it together. Now that, you know, when I know you can get it together, then I can loosen it up, because clearly this is too much for you. You need this. You need a grip. God got you in a chokehold in this point. God is like, she ain't doing nothing. Nothing. You're going to be working. It's going to be family drama. And you're going to be working some more. That's what it is. That's all you got in this life. Work, family drama. That's all you're getting. So no parties for you. No international travels for you. No kissing underneath the Eiffel Tower for you. Oh my God. That's too funny. Yeah, that's what it is. I knew it. I still get surprised. Even though I know it, I still get surprised when people confirm, like, yep, that's what's going on with me. I'm like, of course. You know why? Because I believe God is fair. I believe the universe is fair. I believe ultimately everything that we go through is a result of everything that we've been. I don't think any of us get more of a raw deal than another person. I think everything that happens to us is exactly what we need and what we deserve. I really believe that. I sincerely believe that. Even the difficult things, I think they're all here to teach us, to help us grow. Because all of us have been the villain in somebody's story. Not in this life, maybe in another life. So, all right, that was interesting. Okay. Capricorn in 12th house. Oh, since now we're getting into 12th house karma. Okay, let's get into it. I like it. Welcome to everybody who's just joining. Hi, Talisha. Thanks for coming. No, work is never fun for Capricorn. Honestly, can I tell you a secret? So you guys know I'm a Capricorn stellium. Like, hi. Hi, Talisha. So work for me, this is going to sound batshit insane. And trust me, I know I have my issues, okay? We all got issues. I know I got mine, okay? I actually find work to be therapeutic. Yeah, I do. I find it to be healing. Because I got all this Capricorn in my chart, I find it to be healing. When I have problems in life, like problems that I can't solve that are stressing me out, that's when I get the most juice to actually like create stuff. That's when I get a second job. That's when I'm working from sunset to sunset to sunrise. I love working. Like, it heals me. It sounds crazy, I know. I know it sounds crazy. Because that's not how you're supposed to be enjoying life. But yeah, for me, it's truly healing. Somebody said it can be. Not healing, but great for zoning out of real issues. Yeah, it literally heals me. Like, it keeps me together. It keeps me grounded. That's what happens when you got a lot of Capricorn. So me, like, because of all the Capricorn I know in my chart, I know that in my last life, I was wilding out. I know this. You don't have to tell me nothing. I know. Because in a way, a guy gave me all this Capricorn for no reason. I know I was doing the most. He's like, this girl needs to sit down somewhere, okay? She needs to be responsible because this ain't it. So here we are. Now I'm like a grandmother. I've been a grandmother my whole life. Saying you work through pain? Yeah, pretty much. Work is so healing. People go and cry. I don't go and cry. I get busy. And maybe like that's how I release my pain. And I'm not like, by the way, those of you who cry, I'm not sticking my nose up at you. To be honest, I'm a little jealous. I wish I could cry easily. I wish those tears came out easy for me, but they don't. I've got all this energy that doesn't make it easy for it to come out. I wish it did. But when I work, like the pain of that work, like it heals me. So Capricorn in 12th house. Capricorn in 12th house is somebody who died in a previous life overworking, like working too much. Not to turn this into a dark conversation around work. Capricorn is here to work though. But when you have it in a 12th house, it's somebody that does it too much but doesn't realize they're overdoing it, okay? So they died either overworking or they lived a really harsh life, either like as a monk where they were isolated from society, or lived a harsh life where they were physically disabled and people made them feel isolated from society. So there's a theme of isolation, there's a theme of suffering, and there's a theme of hard work. So when Capricorn is in your 12th house, you generally come into this life with a sense of seriousness about you, because in your last life, everything was tough. Capricorn in 12th house don't get a break. They get a lot of responsibilities in this life as well. And the other thing is they always feel like life is heavy on their shoulders. So even when life is good, they don't know how to find joy and fulfillment. Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for coming. They don't know how to hold on to that joy. So even when there are happy moments, the happy moments never last forever. There's always a feeling of dread, a feeling of loss, a feeling of misery, a feeling of suffering that covers everything that they are. So even when life is good, those dark feelings are still a part of their identity. Somebody says, yes, mom said I was a sad kid, mysteriously. Yes, Capricorn in 12th house is sad all the time. Even when they're happy, there's still a little bit of sadness because in their last life, they really suffered. So Capricorn in 12th house came back in this life. If you're still working on that same thing, you're here to learn how to connect to other people. You know, you feel like other people aren't listening to you and other people aren't connecting with you. But the real issue, oh, thank you, Tashnamani, for subscribing. I appreciate it. The real issue is that Capricorn in 12th house has been through so much trauma in previous life that when they come in this life, they really want to like isolate themselves from people. It's almost like they want to build a wall around themselves to keep themselves safe from all the pain that they've suffered. So they don't know how to open up to people. They don't know how to connect with people. And they feel like people don't get them and people don't understand them. When the truth is, it's the reverse. It's that Capricorn doesn't trust people. Capricorn doesn't trust life. And Capricorn isn't really wanting to be open to people because they're afraid that being open means being hurt again. And the way they see it, they've already been hurt enough from previous lives. So that pain is still very much so in their DNA, in their soul. They haven't forgotten about it. So they don't want to risk, you know, because Capricorn takes very calculated risks. They don't like risky things. So they don't want to risk the possibility of opening up to you and for you to bring them more pain. Because they already have enough pain to last 100 lives. Because, you know, Capricorn is stubborn. So I'm sure Capricorn in 12th house has had to work that placement numerous times because Capricorn is not somebody that you're just going to be like, go this way. And they're going to be like, okay, let's go. No, they're not doing that. They're asking you, but why? But why? And then they're challenging you. What about this? What about that? And that's how I was as a kid, irritating the shit out of my mom. That poor woman. God bless her. God bless her. I don't know how she did it. It's a lot raising a Capricorn kid. On top of that, you got a slick mouth. How you gonna be too damn smart for your own good with a slick mouth? So they don't trust anybody. They don't listen. That's the other thing, because they're an old soul. So when they come back as a child, they don't listen because they feel like they're on the same playing field as you. Because they come in as an adult. They come in as a grandparent. So I was 3 years old talking to my mom like we were the same. She's like, do this. I'm like, but why do I got to do that? And she's like, who are you? But my spirit is old. I don't know that I'm 3 years old. I feel like a grandmother. And if I feel like what you're doing is wrong and what you're talking about is not correct, I feel like it's my responsibility to get you back into the truth, to get you back into alignment, into reality, get you back into the facts of the matter. So we're on the same page. Unfortunately, when you're a mother, you know, with 3 other kids, and one of them that's just like this, wanting to challenge you back and forth, it's exhausting. So that's what it's like being a Capricorn 12th house child. You come in with this old energy, this old spirit, all of this suffering, and you don't want to be open, and you don't trust people, but you say people don't connect with you, but you don't connect with them. So you're here to learn how to be open to other people, because Capricorn is actually here to be a leader. You're here to lead people. You're not here to live a life of isolation, completely removed from everybody. You're here to use your pain as a source of wisdom to help guide people, to help people overcome some of the things that you've had to go through so they can avoid some of the mistakes that you've made in your life. You're also here to be generous with your spirit by blessing people with your presence, blessing people with your divine energy, with your wisdom, and more importantly, blessing people with your finances. Because that's the other part of Capricorn in 12th house, is that if they were not living a life of suffering, if they were wealthy, there were people that used illegal means to attain their wealth. There were people that used treacherous ways to obtain their wealth, but in a way that undermined other people. So it's not just illegal or treacherous. It's doing things, using means that step on other people's rights, using means that undermine other people's existence, and basically usurping your power in a way that puts other people at a disadvantage. Now, you know that whole concept of stepping on top of people to get to the top of the ladder? Yes. So even if Capricorn wasn't poor and didn't suffer a harsh, difficult life, even if Capricorn was wealthy, they were morally poor. They were spiritually poor. They did not feel connected with other people emotionally, physically, spiritually. So they treated people like people were things that were at their disposal for whatever their means were at the moment. So if I want this thing and you're in the way, I'm going to get you out of the way to get this thing. I don't care how you feel about it. So in this life, Capricorn comes in with a very cold heart because of this background, but they're here to learn how to put blood back into their heart by connecting with other people. So think about it. The sister of Capricorn is Cancer. All Cancer does is connect. The crab is always trying to hold on to somebody. That's all Cancer does. Cancer wants to build relationships. They want to connect. They get emotionally involved. Like, they're available. They give of themselves, of their emotions, of their energy to other people. This is, you know, I recently made a video about the people that usually get used in friendships. And Cancer was at the top of that list because that's Cancer. Cancer is very generous energetically. Capricorn is a sister sign of Cancer, where there are two sides of the same coin. While Cancer is overly generous, Capricorn is the least generous energetically. Capricorn's attitude is, you have to prove to me that you're worthy of my time and my energy before I give it to you. And I'm going to watch you for a long time. And what I mean by a long time is 10, 20 years. I don't mean just like 30 minutes. And I don't need any deviations in that energy. Because if you make a mistakes in those 10, 20 years, I'm going to act like I never knew you. And that's that. We're going to move on from there. Like, nice lesson. Nice try, but it wasn't good enough, okay? You need to try a little bit harder, right? You're not doing a good job, so now I no longer trust you. Your skill has been reset to 0. And moving on to the next candidate. Who's next? That's Capricorn. That's Capricorn. Because it's too much hurt. It's too much trauma. And even I still have these reactions, even though I know all this. And even though I have 20 years of mental health knowledge. Even though I have all this astrology knowledge. Even though I have all of this human development knowledge. I still operate like this till this day. If I don't know somebody for 10, 20 years, I'm never 100% comfortable. It takes me a long time. It really does. Like, I have to really know you. It takes me a long time to get comfortable with people for that reason. Too much hurt. I can't risk it. And I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that is how Capricorn is built. That's how Capricorn thinks. And all of that is related to karma. You know? So that's Capricorn in 12th house. You're here to learn to connect and to be generous of spirit. Otherwise, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again, because you don't get to go through all that pain and learn all these lessons to not use it, because that's lazy. So Capricorn, since you're allergic to laziness and you like working, that is really what you're here for. You're not here to work yourself physically to death. You're here to work yourself emotionally, spiritually, physically. You, Capricorn, in 12th house, should be spending time by yourself routinely, to be by yourself, because honestly, that is when you feel the most comfortable, is when you're alone with God, with the universe, with source, whatever you want to call it. You need to routinely be doing that so you stay grounded and centered, because you have a tendency to lean towards the darkness, the negativity. And after a while, it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy where you only expect bad things out of life and bad things out of people. And you expect the worst all the time. So then what happens is that you keep getting the worst when you go out, because that's all you're willing to see. Somebody said, oh my God, I just said that. I feel good alone. Yeah, that's where you feel the best. But to be honest, that's when you're your most honest self. That's when you're the most real self, when you're alone with God or with Source, with the universe. So you need to be cultivating that, because that's where you develop the courage. Because Capricorn, hear me clearly and hear me loud. Capricorn, it is a courage issue. Okay? And I know you don't want to hear this, because Capricorn is like, I'm unbreakable. And I know I am too. I am too unbreakable. I know. But it is a courage issue. It's because you're afraid. You're afraid. You're scared. That's why you do this. So when you're alone with God, Source, the universe, whatever you want to call it, that's where you get the confidence to know that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. So then you can come out of your bubble and bless the people with the things that you're supposed to bless them with, which is wisdom and generosity and humanitarianism. You're supposed to help people. And you can't do that if you're afraid of them. So that's Capricorn in 12th house. And by the way, I know I just made a karma from your previous live video last week. And I know I didn't finish all 12 of them. I was going to record it yesterday. Well, I recorded it 2 days ago, but then I realized I missed somebody. So I'm going to have to re-record it. Hopefully I'll get to re-record it after this so that I can release it. Because I definitely want to release it by the end of this week, so everybody knows what their karma is from their 12th house. So if you're one of those that hasn't heard yours, like Capricorn is one, Aquarius, all the ones after Virgo, I think I stopped at Leo. So Virgo all the way down, yours is coming. So please be patient with me. I'll get it out by Friday, I promise. Scorpio in 12th house, please. Thank you for asking. So Scorpio in 12th house in the past life was involved in the life of crime or violence. So definitely a theme of crime, violence, and darkness. Scorpio in 12th house, I'm scared. You should be scared. You know what Scorpio is. You know what it is. You know what it is. Scorpio is Capricorn's sister. Those two are like this. Besties for life. That's the darkness gang. You should be scared. You know what Scorpio is. Yeah, it is what it is, though. What you gonna do? Karma is what it is. We all got our karma. So, Scorpio in 12th house, you probably died a very violent death, or you died in a life of crime, basically. Well, hi. Hello, mate. Scorpio in 12th house, if they worked it in the negative, usurped their power in a previous life. So much like Capricorn, right? So slightly different, but still the same. Much like Capricorn, Scorpio use their power to dominate other people. And they will use that effect in different settings. So they will either dominate other people sexually, dominate other people financially, dominate other people emotionally, but it was more like about power and control. Like, I'm going to control you, I'm going to dominate you, and it's not about love, and it's not about trying to get anywhere. It's just for the sheer joy of feeling like they have power and they have control. So slightly different than Capricorn in terms of the motivation. Capricorn just wants to get wealthy, and Scorpio just wants to feel powerful. So it's not unusual for people with Scorpio in 12th house to deal with a lot of theme around sexual violence or financial violence, financial abuse or emotional abuse for that reason, or sexual abuse for that reason, because of previous karma with that. In this life, Scorpio in 12th house is supposed to learn about empathy and compassion, which is something Scorpio in 12th house lacks. And if this is not their first round working through that, then you're going to see that. These are people that generally are not very empathetic. They're not very sensitive to what other people are going through. They don't really have a good pulse on how, other people are feeling. And even if they do, they hardly ever care, unless whatever is going on benefits them. So Scorpio naturally tends to be very self-serving. Zodiac sign in general, some are self-serving and some are less self-serving. Scorpio tends to be self-serving, and it's because of this kind of scarcity that Scorpio lives with. So much like Capricorn, it's been a rough year for Scorpio. Yeah, it has been. It has been. I know. So much like Capricorn, Scorpio lives in a deep state of fear at all times. Regardless of what they're telling you, what they're showing you, Scorpio is always fearful. They live in a deep state of fear because of their, origin story. But when you have Scorpio in the 12th house, they know what they've done in previous lives. You know, they don't remember all the details, but the energy follows them. So there's like an energy of mistrust because they don't trust themselves. They know what they've done. So they're like, if I think I'm such a good person and I've, you know, murdered someone or killed someone, or I was involved in a life of crime where I pillaged through villages to get my drugs or whatever, then I know anybody can do anything because I know I did anything. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like Scorpio knows the darkness because they were involved in it, deep in it. That's why they don't trust anybody, is because they don't trust themselves. It's like they think, if I'm this dark, then you must be this dark too, because I don't think I'm a bad person and I've done all these horrible things. So why should I trust you? Because I know what humans are really capable of, because I've done it all. I've seen it all. I've done it all. Scorpio's done all the dark, horrible, violent, awful things that you can imagine. So in this life, they're supposed to actually learn how to feel compassion for other people, learn how to feel empathy for other people, and really turn to their spirituality as a way to connect with other people more deeply, and to use the hurt that they experience in this life, because unfortunately for them, when they come in this life, they get met with a lot of violence right away. Usually Scorpio in 12th house has like a lot of violence in their life, or a lot of aggression. It's not unusual for them to have their own traumatic stories as well from childhood with Scorpio in 12th house. So all of that came in this life to them as karma from before, so that they can learn what it feels like to be on the receiving end of that violence, because the universe is all about balancing out the scale, so that they can go out and like teach us that, hey, it's not cool to do that. It's not cool to beat people, or to be involved in the life of crime, or to be violent against other people, or to be raping people. Like, it's hurtful. It's not cool. It's not what we want to do. So that's basically... Somebody says, is that the reason why I'm so into watching crime documentaries? Yeah, probably why. That's exactly why. Yeah, because that's a life you're familiar with. You're comfortable with it. I'm going to share with you another secret, since tonight I'm in the mood for sharing secrets. I love crime shows as well, but because of my Capricorn like heavy chart, right, and Saturn is my chart ruler in Vedic astrology, and in Vedic astrology, I'm a Scorpio stellium, so I have a lot of Scorpio Capricorn in my chart. So I know I'm a karmic, whatever. I know I've done some bad things. That's why I'm on this side of the track this time around. But here's the secret part. Whenever I'm watching a show, it doesn't even matter if I come in the middle of the show, if I come in at the beginning of the show, if I come in at the end of the show. Whenever plop me anywhere in front of the television and there's a show going on, and show me the characters, I promise you, whoever is my favorite character is always gonna end up being the bad guy. It's like I can sniff them out from a mile away. Sniff them out from a mile away. It's like my spirit just knows. Like, yep, that's the one. That's the one. You know, so it's like, your spirit never forgets. Like, your soul never forgets. Like, all the horrible things that we've done before, we get to experience them in another way. You know, if you have, you know, been violent towards other people in another life, then yeah, in this life, you're going to experience some violence against you. So you know what that feels like. And then you can learn from that. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying people need to experience violence. I'm saying that is the basic definition of karma, like cause and effect. We don't have the viewpoint of all of our lives to understand how that plays out, you know, in reality. You know, we're just looking myopically at like this incident in this timeline, but we don't see what's happened over 1,000 years of us being on this earth, or millennia for some of us. We don't know what we've done. And we're not saints if we're here on earth. Have you looked around? This place is hell. There are no angels here. Everybody who's here is not an angel. Everybody who's here is here to work on something. We're here because we fucked up. Hello? Nobody's here because they're great. That's why when people think they're perfect, it irks me to no end, because I'm like, then why are you here on earth? Because God doesn't send perfect people to earth. The perfect people are angels. So if you're not an angel and you're a human being and you're here on earth, then you're not perfect. You're here because you fucked up. That's why we're here. Yeah. We're going to keep trying until we get it right. But I just need everyone to get on the same page as me, which is that we're here because we fucked up. We're not here because we got it figured out. Because this is a university. We're here for our training. That's why we're here. There's no other reason why we got sent to Earth. There's no other reason. Yes. Purgatory on repeat. Yes. That's what this is. That's exactly what this life is. That's why I don't believe in the hell. That's like a place filled of brimstone and fiery burning place. Because I'm like, have you looked around on Earth? This is pretty bad. And then when you die, you come right back. Yeah. That sounds about hellish to me. Sounds about hellish to me.